It's happening right before our eyes. Ilhan Omar exposes the Democrats. Wow. And the GOP fires back. Something huge is coming, guys. Watch this video to the end. Let's delve into it.
As many of you know, Democrats said we are not going to pass the appropriations bill for the Department of Homeland Security unless they agreed to 10 reforms, simple things like unmasking ICE agents when they were patrolling our communities.
Something is breaking inside the Democratic Party, folks. We're talking about open frustration. Like Dean Phillips, they're stepping into the debate. And when you hear Democrats quietly whispering about U.S. immigration and customs enforcement, sanctuary cities, and even the political damage coming out of Minnesota, you realize this isn't just disagreement. This is clearly an internal war. Well, tonight, we're going to go ahead and break down exactly how blame shifted, why Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib are suddenly the lightning rods, and whether this really is a party in free fall. Now, if you enjoy sharp analysis with a little bite, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you're thinking, okay, that explains a lot, go ahead and tap the like button. Win. Suddenly, the narrative explodes. Democrats reject America first. Democrats won't even stand for America. Was that fair? It was debatable, but here's what really does matter. Voters do not process nuance in 5-second clips. They process the emotion behind it. And that moment right there, it instantly became symbolic. It became bigger than the speech, bigger than the details. It became proof in the minds of many people that the party had drifted just too far. And once that perception sticks, it's almost impossible to shake that. And this is where this whole meltdown thesis begins. So now I want to talk about the real fuse here, okay? Immigration, sanctuary cities, border crossings, ICE raids, right? U.S. immigration and customs enforcement became a lightning rod. Under Joe Biden, border enforcement was one of the most criticized issues nationally. Fair or unfair, the perception hardened. The border was out of control. The voters care about safety. They care about order. They care about whether their government can enforce its own laws. So when Trump talks about deporting criminal aliens, ending sanctuary policies, and restoring enforcement, he taps conservative media, amplified it, and suddenly the story wasn't just about fraud. It became about immigration because Minnesota has a large Somalian community tied to Somalia. And critics argued that lax oversight combined with open border rhetoric created conditions for corruption. Now, let's be very clear. No court ruling has convicted Ilhan Omar of wrongdoing in those cases, but politics is not just about the legal guilt. It's about narrative proximity. Omar represents Minnesota. Minnesota has a fraud scandal going on, and the fraud scandal gets tied, fairly or not, to immigration. And suddenly, moderates inside of the Democratic Party, they start sweating because they don't want this association hanging over their swing districts. Now, you can almost hear the closed door conversations. This is killing us. Why are we tied to this? Why are we defending this? And this is how internal blame builds pressure, not through proof, through optics. And Minnesota became shorthand for something much bigger, a symbol of what critics call policy gone wrong. And this is exactly where it gets uncomfortable, because when a local controversy becomes a national talking point, when Minnesota turns into shorthand for something bigger, that's when party leadership starts sweating. That's when the whispers start. This is hurting us. Why are we tied to this? Why is this everywhere? And so if you've got that one friend who still thinks that this is just normal politics, go ahead and send them this video. Seriously, share this video with them. Don't argue with them. Don't type a novel in the comments. Just text it to them, right? Let them watch.
By the way, Democrat Congresswoman Ilhan Omar admitted her party is responsible for the DHS shutdown. Listen to this.
As many of you know, Democrats said we are not going to pass the appropriations bill for the Department of Homeland Security unless they agreed to 10 reforms, simple things like unmasking ICE agents when they were patrolling our communities.
Florida gubernatorial candidate Byron Donalds joins us this morning. All right, Congressman, you heard it right there, but the question is, what do voters think? Do they blame Republicans more than Democrats?
No, they blame Democrats because Democrats have been playing games with TSA and national security over the last 2 months. And it's all cynical political BS simply because the Democrats still cannot take the fact that they lost the 2024 presidential election. They do not want secure borders. They do not want interior enforcement of immigration. And the Democrats do not want to deport criminal illegal aliens. They want to protect them. The American people have never supported this type of position. That's why Donald Trump won the midterms. So whatever deal Mike Johnson and John Thune think they have, that's not with my vote. I'm not agreeing to that deal because we have a responsibility to fund all of ICE's operations and all of Customs and Border Patrol's operations. And let's be very clear, if you're not funding that, then you're not taking the security of the nation seriously. We already know the Democrats do not care about the security of this nation.
Next one for you. Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida signing the state's version of the Save America Act. That's the voter ID bill. Almost immediately, a coalition of voting and civil rights organizations sued. Why is voter ID so controversial? I don't get it.
It's controversial to Democrats because this is the only way they have a chance to win elections if you don't have strict controls on elections. And what you have to do in elections, which what we do in Florida, and we thank Governor DeSantis for signing this piece of legislation, it's only going to make things even more secure in our state, is that we treat our elections incredibly seriously. We make sure that ballots are carefully handled as like evidence in a criminal trial or a civil trial, because you want to make sure that you're protecting the ballot and the franchise of the American people. So the Democrats, they sue, and quite frankly, they sue all the time on all kind of ridiculous reasons, but they sue because they want weakness in the controls of our elections, so it helps them find votes to win elections. That's why they sue.
It's crazy. Very quickly, 30 seconds, new polling shows healthcare is the #1 worry among Americans. This as voters apparently less concerned about inflation, crime, and immigration, which used to be top issues. Is that what you're hearing from voters?
Yeah, healthcare is a real problem, and let's also understand this. Healthcare inflation is out of control because of the Democrat policy which governs healthcare in the United States, the Unaffordable Care Act, aka Obamacare. It was designed to increase the cost of health insurance in our country to force all Americans into a single-payer healthcare system. That's how it was constructed. It is not working. The Democrats refuse to make any concessions because they want to protect their policy framework that would drive people into higher costs, higher premiums, and higher deductibles. It's insane policy. We need to change it at the federal level, and states need to be focused on price transparency, making sure people have a clear view on the prices that they're going to pay, and then also lowering prescription drugs the way President Trump is doing with Trump RX.
We'll have to leave it right there, but we covered a lot of ground. Thank you so much. Congressman Byron Donalds talking to us this morning. Thank you, sir.
A new round of political tension is unfolding after remarks from Ilhan Omar sparked reactions across party lines. Some of her comments are being interpreted as criticism within our own political circle, while members of the GOP quickly pushed back, turning it into a broader debate. This isn't just about a disagreement, it's a reflection of how divided and fast moving political narratives have become. The real question is, what was said and why did it trigger such a strong response? Let's get into it. Original credit to creators whose video will be used for illustration and example.
Once again, she's shown everyone she does not care for America. Well, not as much as she cares about prioritizing foreign interests over America's through her repeated anti-America rhetoric, her anti-Trump stance. Even despite backlash, including from within her own party, she continues to double down, arguing that the president must be stopped and Congress must vote to take control of the Iran situation. And so we're going to break all that down. As always, make sure you smash that thumbs up button if you do enjoy the content. That's the best way to let me know, and to stay locked in with future videos. Subscribe to the channel and turn your notification bells on. That way you never miss a video when I drop. Let's get right into it. And that's what makes this woman so unbearable. She's anti-America and she constantly confirms it with her actions. Right as the House votes to affirm Iran as the largest state sponsor of terrorism, passing 372 to 53, 53 Democrats voted against it. And guess who was one of the 53? Yes, Ilhan Omar. But let's get into this next clip because I came across it from a reporter, a journalist, who alleges Omar isn't who she says she is when it comes to her past. Check it out.
Now, political debates like this show how quickly conversations can escalate, especially in today's environment. Different perspectives will always exist because understanding the context behind the headlines is what really matters the most. And right here, we focus more on clarity, not confusion. If you value balanced commentary, subscribe, share your thoughts respectfully, and stay informed. This video is intended for commentary, analysis, and educational discussion purposes only. Share your thoughts below, and I'll see you in our next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn the notification button on. Bye for now.